Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be going over a bit of a workflow, Ableton optimization sort of thing. And this stems from the question that I got is like, why do you always consolidate? What's the point of that? Well, it carries over from the previous versions of Ableton Live. I had to do this, way back in the day, and it comes from running out of memory. And we don't really have to worry about it so much now. But there are other kind of, I guess, optimizations that you can do, consolidating. So I'm not going to touch anything. So I just opened up Ableton, and this is the task manager, and this is the base Ableton, I guess, I don't know, the base Ableton CPU and memory usage. So it's, 0.5 and percent of my CPU, and the base is 508 megabytes. That includes Max for Live and whatever else it has on screen. So this is the base memory, and what I did and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through that workflow now. So let's say I have a kick, I have a loop that's, I'm not going to drag in the entire folder. I have a loop here, and let's select an area. All right, so this is going to be our scientific work area here. So I have a kick here, and if you want a kick to be like 4 and 4, you drag the sample in and you kind of do that, and then you continue to do that on and on for the rest of the track. And what you see me do is you see me consolidate. Right click, I select all that, I consolidate, and then it consolidates it into a new clip down here with the containing kicks. And the reason why I used to do that is back in the day, not so much anymore. Okay, so I have a kick loaded in. It's 511 megabytes here. I'll just leave this up here. What would happen is I always had these loaded into RAM because hard drives were slow. I would have it loaded into RAM, this clip, and then I would have my track, and my track would have my kicks like so, and then I would copy that and then duplicate. And you'll notice the memory doesn't go up because I guess they changed this in the previous versions way back. As far as I know, every clip, even if it was the same as the other one, would be loaded into memory separately. Now they're shared, which is, very, very cool. But back in the day, it wasn't. And back in the day, we only had the 32-bit version of Ableton. And you could only have, let's say, 2 gigabytes, maybe I think a little bit over or whatever, but you would get these out of memory errors with Ableton when you'd have all these clips loaded into memory. So this kick is, however much. Let's see here. We'll go size. This kick is, 71 kilobytes. But if you had a loop per se, just a loop here, this loop is, you know, uh, 0.3 megabytes, right? So, you'd have a bunch of these like this. It would all kind of add up, and then you'd use your plugins and all that, and you'd have the orders of magnitude more kind of like hi-hats, close hi-hats, things like that, and it would really kind of populate, and this memory usage would shoot way up, and it would just kind of be a pain, and you'd have it loading from RAM, and each one it would it would choke quite a bit. So I would go I would mitigate this effect by essentially consolidating these, right? Consolidate, oops, and then I would hit loop, and then I would drag this out however long I needed it to. And this would all be loaded into RAM, one clip, right? For the most part, and then, that would be kind of like so, and then I would do my volume automation, or I would kind of do like this, and it acted as a guide for the structure of my track, and I could have different color codes and things like that. It would reduce the CPU and the memory usage a lot. So let's pretend that we're kind of not doing that, and we don't necessarily need to. I'll just do this. We don't need to worry about running out of RAM these days. It's actually quite difficult, unless you're using like a lot of like instances of Omnisphere. You know, the base value of RAM that you get is like 16 gigabytes, which is for me that's insane. So let's say we have a track like this, and it has a bunch of these, and let's do a little bit of a control here. So I'll kind of I'll have this down here. So the base memory isn't going up. It's loading it into memory, but it knows that other clips are the exact same, and it will just read from the same spot in memory if you have to. And yeah, you don't need to necessarily worry about this. But let's say we have 5 of these. Let's do a control. And the frame rate of this video, it might not do it justice. But take a look at the CPU. So the CPU will actually draw things on screen, and the video card will perform certain things also. Not really sure what it does, but if I zoom in and see it's laggy as heck, and the CPU is spiking up quite a bit. Not quite a bit, but like enough. It's taking the equivalent of like one whole core, because I got like one whole thread, right? And yeah, you can see that spike, and you can see it like so laggy. Like this is the mouse moving as a base kind of frame rate reference. And then these, yeah, this is just because each little clip has to be drawn on screen. And yeah, it makes your set very like not responsive and uncool. And we go, we're at oh, I'm speed stepping. I gotta turn that off. So we're at like 9 or 10 or whatever, and I'm moving this, and we're spiking. So say you're like working on a track and you're zooming in, you might get maybe a dropout, maybe something, not cool. So yeah, let's do a quick little comparison. So we had 5 of these guys, right? So let's get rid of these, and I'll just I'll zoom in here, and yeah, I'll just hit warp, and then no funny business. We'll just go repitch, and hit loop, and I want to just extend that out to one kind of track that's looped, right? Like so. Okay. So no funny business. Let's duplicate this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if we zoom in, it's a lot more smooth, and not as much as it hit on the CPU. Like, look at how smooth that is. It's night and day. That's because it doesn't need to like redraw every single clip. This is like one large clip, but it's not. It's just a tiny snippet, and it's just one of those little cool optimizations that you can have. And yeah, you should be doing this for your the loops you create, things like that, right? Because all those kicks, all those hi-hats, all those little percussion elements and whatnot really add up. Like how many freaking clips would this be? You know what I mean? So like, yeah. So if it's like 120 beats per minute, I'd be like 240, be like 480, 480 clips in this one area. Or like yeah, from here to here, just with like 4, which would be pretty crazy once you look at the entire track. And what this does also is it makes your sets load quicker, and especially on laptops and stuff like that, you don't want it to be chugging along because you're using your integrated graphics or whatever, and the CPU is doing all this heavy lifting to draw these cute things on here while playing the track, while doing all the things and while doing all the processing. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned stuff. Yeah, take care and have a good one.